So, hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us in this live event in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. That's a little bit different, isn't it? Isn't it? We only have a few people in the room right now. I see we have five people right now, and we have no likes, no thumbs up. So we could use the thumbs up. We ought to have at least five, right? Doesn't that make sense? So I really I wanted to do this live thing because it's important to talk about recovery because recovery represents hope. And hope is such a big deal. These recovery stories, we have over 50 recovery stories on our channel, and they mean the world to me. The recovery stories are so important because there is hope. The people who share their recovery stories, they're brave and they are totally committed to helping others. And that's an awesome, awesome, powerful thing. So, Fitz, hello from the UK. I have been to the UK quite a few times. There's a hotel, the hotel next to the Gatwick Airport. The last time I stayed there, one of the guys who worked there, he said to me, "Welcome back, sir." I've been to the UK many times, mostly London. Also been to Aberdeen and Great Yarmouth. Yeah, kind of weird. Anyway, thank you, Fitz, for joining us. Are you new? Is this the first time you've been part of one of our live events? Normally, when we do these live events, we do them in the evenings, and so in the evenings in the U.S. So typically it'll be 6 or 7 o'clock at night. But here we are. So hey, I thought it would be. Why are we looking at that? Holy cow! No, no, I shouldn't do this. I know. Quick turnaround time, Brianna Bree. So cool to see you here in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. That's pretty awesome. Quick turnaround. Actually, the way our workflow goes, uh, we we send these stories to editors. We have several editors who are their goal. They are really talented and committed to telling these stories in an effective kind of way. And this story, this story's actually been done for a while. And it's my fault that I missed it in the email exchange between myself and the editor that did the work, did the bulk of the work. So it isn't quite as quick of a turnaround as it looks like. So Fred says, first time part of a live event such as this, and appreciate you being here. It's really a big deal. I wanted to make this a live event because specifically it is about recovery. Recovery is such an important thing, in the course of all of the stories that we put out that involve people dying, acknowledging that there is recovery as a possibility is so important, I think. So I am very grateful to have you folks joining us, whoever's here right now, to talk about recovery. recovery is such a big deal. It is really such an important deal. It's so important to recognize that recovery is within reach. As long as you're still drawing a breath, recovery is within reach. So I see we have 5, 4. We're down to 4 people right now, and that's okay. Whoever is here, we're very grateful for you being here. So if there's other people that are here where this is the first time joining us during a live event, please speak up and share what brought you here, what's kept you staying here regardless of how boring I might be. What keeps you here? Where's your interest? Or do you watch the fentanyl stories on our channel? Do you watch the recovery stories, the human trafficking, cannabis induced psychosis, or some of the other stories? What is it that captivates you? Just share. And we have one like one thumbs up. Just one. There are 9 people watching and there's only one thumbs up. I don't. Wow. We went from 9 to 3. What happened there? That's okay. It's really okay. I understand that recovery isn't the interesting topic that fentanyl is. And totally get that. So, I like the way you engage with the chat. I appreciate that, Bree. I don't really know if I I have a it's a weird thing. I'm a video guy. I am a behind the camera guy. Yet here I am in front of the camera. And I try my best because it's important. I feel like the stories that we tell, the stories that people come to us for us to share, for us to help them share, are so important. But holy cow, I'm a behind the camera guy. So I do my best. But it is a little bit weird. So I appreciate a lot, Bree. I appreciate you sharing that you like how I engage with the chat. I don't know that I engage much at all, but I try. And so very grateful that you are here. And we have been here for just a little over 10 minutes. And right now there's 5 people that are watching, and that's okay. And I know I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again. It is so important to talk about recovery because recovery is within reach. Recovery is genuinely within reach. We have over 50 stories about recovery on our channel. And as far as I know, there's only one out of that 50 plus. There's only one that has, I don't know how to put that. It's kind of, there's only one that's gone south. There's only one that is not, that's no longer a recovery story. But could be the storyteller is in custody and the storyteller is facing prison time, and that's pretty much all that we know about where the story is at right now for them. But we do know that. And that's one out of over 50. And that's That's something for everyone else, not for that one person, but everyone else. It's a good it's a good spot. And so I just I wanted to do this live recovery thing because recovery matters so much. It matters. What matters about it is that people understand that it's attainable, that it's within reach, that you can look at the stories on our channel, look at the 50 plus stories about recovery that are on our channel, and you can see that there is something to be hopeful about. You can work your way through all of the stories that are in the recovery playlist, and somewhere in all of that is something that is a real close match to whatever kind of struggle you're going through. So Bree says, how do you follow up on recovery stories? Well, we don't really have a formal way of following up. We are in touch with most of the storytellers. We have the we have the private Facebook group that is made up primarily of storytellers. So in the private Facebook group, it's got over 580 members right now, and it's either storytellers from the fentanyl series or the addiction recovery series, human trafficking, or uh, domestic violence, or one of the others. And those folks, we all communicate with each other. It's wonderful the way everyone connects with each other in that group. There's a couple of trolls in the group too. Nothing we can do about that. They're not really worth the effort to worry about them. When we spot them and recognize that they're trolls, we'll typically just boot them out. But you know, they're not really worth that level of effort. So the way that we keep in touch is they tend to want to keep us updated, or they want to update the rest of the members of the private group, and that works out fine too. So that's kind of how we do that. What other questions do you folks have? We have right now we have five people in the live event, and that's good. That if you're here, it seems to me like you have to really care about recovery in some kind of substantial way. You can't just be here watching me ramble on a Saturday afternoon. So I feel like it's an important thing that you're here. It's an awesome thing that you're here because you're looking to grow, looking to learn. Karen, Karen, holy cow, Karen. Welcome, Karen Lee. Hello, Glenn, make it 6, she says. All right. And actually, the number is up to 9 now. I don't, it goes like this. It just goes, and, and that's okay. So, Karen, what is your story? What brought you here? I appreciate you being here very much. We don't usually do live events with stories about recovery because there's not as much interest as recovery stories really deserve. Recovery stories are awesome because they're stories about victory. So I think it's really wonderful. So Karen, tell me about you. I feel like you're new. It could be that I've forgotten something. It's gonna happen because my my brain is really full, and so Karen lost a relative to fentanyl. Well, I'm very sorry. You're not alone. We have a private Facebook group, and there's about 580 members, and the vast majority of them are in the same kind of spot that you are. They lost a family member, a relative to fentanyl. Linda, okay, I feel like I've seen your name here before. I'm so happy for you to be here, though. And Karen says, but his partner is navigating recovery well for the last 2 years since he passed away. So recovery is such a big deal. We really need Brenda here. Brenda's a wonderful champion for the channel and a regular viewer, regular commenter, regular participant in the live events. Brenda has been wonderful with that stuff, and so we need Brenda's a great champion for recovery as well. Karen says, I've been here before. I asked you about your dog on a live stream. Yeah, the dog. Oh my gosh, the dogs. I can't believe they haven't barked yet this time. I'd swear anytime. It's like they know. It's like they know as soon as the YouTube live thing kicks in, they get some kind of mental cue in their head that says time to bark. You're right, Karen. I do meet a lot of people. And I meet a lot of people that are awesome. I don't know any other way to describe it. I don't feel particularly worthy to meet these awesome people, but I meet awesome people all the time. And I am so grateful for that opportunity to talk with people who, in the course of working through and dealing with their grief, they have sorted things out and developed an understanding that's otherwise that would otherwise be beyond me and beyond anyone who hasn't been through that level of loss. So Karen says a relative's partner was jointly using, but then he died of a fentanyl overdose. But she has found a supportive community. In the last 2 years, she has grieved his death, but also changed her life. Hmm. How awesome is that? The last 2 years, she has grieved his death, but also changed her life. That's such a giant thing. Finding that pathway, finding that path, finding that pathway to a better place. That's such a big deal. Linda says, I've been on a few lives. I'm the small town Missouri girl. I bet I talked to you about Union, Missouri. Union, Missouri, Bourbon, Missouri. I am adopted, and my birth mother is from Union, Missouri. She's buried in Union, Missouri. So I bet I talked to you about that before. Karen says, Linda, hello. Hi, Karen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the recovery thing is such a big deal. I don't, I would love to be able to figure out a better way to amplify just how important it is to talk about recovery, to talk about how recovery is actually within reach. It is 100% within reach for anyone. If you're still drawing a breath, you can achieve recovery. Hmm. So you get what I'm saying, though, right? Recovery is a big deal. Recovery is within reach. Recovery is within reach. Damn it. Recovery is within reach. It's within reach for anyone. The big key things that I have learned about recovery over the last couple of years while we've been doing these series is support. Having a sponsor, having someone who says they believe in you. That's such a big deal. Having someone that you're accountable to for recovery. That's a big, big deal. They're so important, even if they put you in an awkward spot because you have to say, I screwed up a little bit. Big deal. They'll hear that you screwed up a bit and they will help you find the best pathway back to being on track. So, Delaney, hello. First time here. I lost my husband to fentanyl on the first. I'm sorry, Delaney. On the first? Like 19 days ago? Is that what you're 19 days ago? Delaney, really? I I don't know how to find the right words to offer anything other than my condolences, which are kind of just worthless. Yes. So, so Delaney, I don't know. I guess maybe you've seen, maybe you've seen that we have quite an in-depth series about fentanyl poisoning. You say you're clueless. He was using. There's a lot of people in a lot of the stories in our series. You know, our series has over 280 stories, and there's a lot of people in a lot of those stories who are in the same position that they had no clue. And there's a lot of victims in the stories who also had no clue, who thought they were using Xanax or Adderall or Percocet or some other counterfeit bullshit that just they didn't know. But regardless, you know, you can find me on Facebook and join our private group of people who have shared their stories with us and people who want to share their story. You know, when I say want to share their story, it doesn't have to be an urgent thing. It could be something, something you want to eventually do a couple of years from now or whatever. But you might find it interesting to be a part of the group. The group has about 580 members, and most of the people that are in the group are people that have either shared their story with us in the series or people who want to whenever we get to whatever part of the country they're in. So if you find me on Facebook by name, Glenn Muse, it's on the screen, right over here somewhere, right here. You find me on Facebook, friend me, and then remind me to invite you to be part of the group. It's that easy. And the value of the group is that we use the group as a way to keep people updated on where we're at and what we have going on. Like in a couple of weeks, we're going to be in Lexington, North Carolina, and it looks like maybe we're going to be somewhere in South Carolina right after that. I don't I don't know. It all kind of runs together to me now, but we're on it. You had no support, Delaney. Yeah, but you do. You have us now. And that's something. And the great thing about the group is it's just a hub. It's different from other fentanyl awareness groups. We're a group of storytellers. It's different. But within the group is a bunch of fentanyl awareness champions. That's a good way to put it. Could also call them fentanyl awareness nut jobs because they're so passionate about increasing fentanyl awareness. There's no defense for the apathy that exists among government officials. So don't get me going. God, I don't know what happened. I'm looking at the live feed and it looks like my picture froze for a minute, but now it's moving again. So I'm figuring that out as I go. All right, so let me see where I'm at. Really, Delaney, you're welcome to email me. Message me on Facebook, whatever. You're welcome to do that. You can find me by my name. It's right here, on the screen, right here, right there, right there. Look at that. Look at that. I can just draw a circle around my name. Wow, that's cool. I bet you guys aren't impressed with that at all. So Karen says, wow, Lexington is 30 minutes away from me. I'm in North Carolina. Well, we're going to be there, I think, the 10th and 11th of October. I mean, I'll look. I'll look, assuming I can figure out how to work all this technology that's in my face right now. I'm pretty sure I can make it happen. Uh, wow. Phoenix, I'm pretty sure that's not happening anymore, but okay. October 10th and 11th, we're going to be in Lexington, North Carolina. October 10th and 11th. Probably October 9th as well. And so, gosh, Karen, you should You you don't have to be a storyteller to come by and just have a look at what we've got going on. You can see how the events work and what we've got. It is there is a magic to these storytelling summits that we have where the storytellers typically meet each other at the event and they connect immediately and they start bonding and they're laughing and crying and connecting, learning and growing and finding strength, all while they're just waiting on their turn to be interviewed, or while they're hanging out after they've been interviewed because they're just not ready to leave yet. And it's an awesome, beautiful kind of thing. Delaney, you should really email us. You definitely should join our Facebook group. It'll put you in the loop where you get some exposure to other people who have other kind of group things going on that will help you, I think. Maybe, you know, I want to help you. I just I just want to help you. I know I've seen so much of this difficulty, this struggle that sorry, this is a microphone holder that I just keep picking up and fiddling with. I'll try to resist the urge to do that. I'll put it down and forget about it. Okay, October 10th and 11th, Lexington, North Carolina. I'll tell my surviving relative, the one who's in recovery from addiction I spoke of. Husband died of fentanyl overdose. What does she need to do to come? Well, there is going to be some sort of I should know this. I know I should. It's like I'm high commander. I ought to know this kind of stuff. But there should be a sign up sheet. But with or without a sign up sheet, you're welcome to show up. Welcome. We will find a way to record your story if that's what you want to do. If you want to show up, but not be interviewed, not record your story, that's fine too. There is healing in being around people who know your pain. And there will be people there who know your pain. So, either way, there is not a lot of there's not a lot of needing to do anything. However, if she were to friend me on Facebook and get in our group, then as the trip to Lexington takes shape, we post things on the status of the event within the group so everybody in the group knows what's going on. Brenda, look who is here. Just sat down. Is Chad in the chat today? Chad. Chad, the story, the recovery story. I don't think he is. There goes the dogs. Okay. So Karen, email me. There's gonna be at the end of the live event here, there will be a graphic that has my email address and we'll go with that. Sorry, it's club soda. Just club soda. That's all. So Linda says it's nice to be around people who understand. I don't have any support that understands. I actually had people turn their back on me when my daughter died. You know, if that was the first time that I heard that, it would piss me off. But in the course of this last 2.5 years, I've learned that people do that because they don't know how to react. They're struggling the same way you're struggling, just from a different perspective. So when someone turns their back to you, they're not really turning their back to you. They're just hiding that they don't know what to do. It's not it's not having a problem with you. Brenda says the dogs always know when I join the chat. Hello, Tucker, Moxie, and Coco. Yeah, they do seem to always know, Brenda. You should figure out how to knock it off with that because, holy cow, nobody cares what kind of nonsense the dogs are barking at because it is nonsense. Whatever it is, it's nonsense. Congratulations, Brenda, Delaney says. Delaney's in a rough spot, but she still finds reason to say congratulations to others. That's pretty awesome. Brenda says, for anyone who doesn't know, I celebrated 1 year clean of a fentanyl on September 5th. God used Glenn to help me. You know, I'm so happy for you, Brenda. It's like, it's crazy how happy I am for you. Uh, Brenda is on it like Oprah on a baked ham. Brenda is on it like a rat on a Cheeto. She is making things happen. And so, Brenda, I don't know if you've seen any of the live event recordings of the ones that, you missed. But I try to give your quote about remember that things you take for granted someone else is praying for. I always try to throw that out there before we wrap. Uh, Bree says, do you have a 5 year plan that Brad speaks about? No, that's me, Brenda. Okay. Seriously, I am very grateful for you folks. And I really I wanted to do this event with a recovery story because it isn't something we typically do. The stories that we typically publish with a premiere and a live event like this, those kind of events tend to be fentanyl stories. They tend to be stories that draw more attention, stories that involve a higher level of, I don't know, tragedy. It's what draws people's attention. So Delaney says, yes, Brenda. His brother was the only one. I woke up to find him, and I didn't know he was using throughout our 30-year marriage. So, Delaney, it's important to not look at that as deception. It's important to look at that as an internal struggle because that's what it was. Glenn had to use his moderator powers last night. Yeah, I did. I know where you're going with that. Yeah, it was kind of it was a sad circumstance for sure because someone participating in the chat was having a particularly difficult time. And basically, I think they were just venting their rage. Brenda says, Bree, the 5-year plan Brad jokes about is from the movie Uncle Buck. It's not a real plan. It could be. It could be. Couldn't it, Brenda? It could be a real plan. I think it could be a real plan. I try to give Brad the benefit of the doubt because, he's old. Anyway, Delaney, I promise you this behavior was not personal. I kept so much from my husband. I can connect you with my hubby who knows how frustrating living with an addict can be. That's the big thing to remember, Delaney, is that it was not about deceiving you. It was about insulating you, about protecting you, about hiding the shame, about about struggling with the challenges. I'm pretty sure you didn't hear that at all, but I can tell you it was loud. Anyway, Delaney, please don't let addiction claim your marriage as one of its many victims. Good advice, Brenda. Delaney, I can tell you it's so important if you can be the sponsor, you can be the support, you can be the rock that makes it easier for your husband to come through addiction and achieve that recovery that's on the other side. And so Brenda's certainly right. Look at that. So we have 10 people here. So we have 10 people and we only have 6 thumbs up. What's up with that, people? Really? Come on. Brenda says, Delaney, the life of active addiction is exhausting. We don't mean to hurt and destroy all that we do. And of course, that's accurate. Brenda has wonderful special insight into all of this because Brenda is Brenda has done it. She's still doing it. But being there for your partner, for your spouse, that's a big deal. They can find so much strength in you just demonstrating a little bit of faith. It's so important. Just a little bit of faith. Just something. Anyway, so my main goal here was really just to have a live event that makes a big deal out of a story that is a recovery story. A recovery story. Recovery stories are gigantically important because they're about hope. And so, Delaney, for you, for your husband, the recovery stories have some answers in them. Maybe not good, firm, hard, absolute answers, but they have answers about attitude and about perception and about being forward thinking and about how to interpret challenges. Things like that. Brenda says, I would like cheat and steal my way to snorting fentanyl up to 10 times a day. Now that I am off everything, I refuse to live in the shame and guilt, or it could stop me from helping someone else. It could stop you from helping someone else. It could also just stop you, like stop you for good. Well, you got this, Brenda. Delaney says, I knew I was led here for a reason. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure you were led here for a reason too. I just kind of get that sense. I think it's awesome that you're here and that you've had the chance to share a little bit. And oh my gosh, 19 days ago, I can tell you guys that there's an extra level of how it hurts me to hear from a bereaved family member, someone who's lost someone to fentanyl, since we started doing this series. It just feels like one that got away, that if they would have just seen a little bit of one of the stories that, and that's crazy. I know that's crazy, but I feel like it just it's that it got away. It's that one that got away. It's kind of strange. Hope and recovery. Yes, Karen. That's it. The recovery stories. I feel like the hope is a big deal. That hope thing is giant. And it's so important that people recognize that hope is out there, that there is still reason to hope. That as long as you're drawing breath, there's reason to have hope. Delaney says, I realized that his use and death doesn't define him. Good job. That's awesome. But anger takes over. His secret cost him his life. Betrayal and anger because he took a chance, knew the consequences. I'll never understand why. I think possibly you will understand why. Might take a little while, but it's such a challenging spot to be in, to be dealing with an addiction. If you're not in addiction, understanding the challenges of addiction is pretty difficult. And so as you grow, as you talk to more people, as you learn, as you do more things, maybe you will understand. So right now, the YouTube people say that our chat rate is zero. I somehow I feel like that can't be good, but that's what it says. Linda says, I feel the same way, Laney. I lost one child to fentanyl, and my two others are in addiction, but hit it, and I had com- complete anger why they would use knowing it killed their sister. It just doesn't work that way. You can know what it did and still not understand what it could do to you. Karen says to Delaney, Widows support group, especially with women who lost a husband to fentanyl, who has been vital for my relative. She's made friends for life, even as she is also in recovery from addiction herself. Brenda says, Delaney, you are amazing for this. You are amazing for this soon. Please know all of your questions will be answered over time, and those that linger will be answered when you get to heaven. Ah, Karen, Glenn, your chats have been invaluable. I'm grateful to get to help any way that I can. I just I just share what I've learned. I've been so fortunate to get to meet all of these wonderful people that are dealing with recovery, people that are dealing with terrible losses to fentanyl or to some other substance. I'm awake. Gosh, I'm tired. But I met so many wonderful people, and you can't help but care about them. And so it's not really anything that I'm doing. It's just that I care about the people that I interact with. And it seems to me like, how could you not? It's crazy the amount of wonderful people that I have met in the course of doing this series about fentanyl and the series about addiction recovery and the other series too, cannabis induced psychosis and domestic violence and the other stuff. It's just crazy how wonderful the people are that I've met to talk about those crazy things. Brenda says once addiction has rewired our brain, we're convinced we won't be harmed, or even worse, that we're not afraid to die. There you go. We hear that a lot. We do hear that a lot. And Delaney says, thank you all. Delaney, thank you. Brenda says, it is chats like this that help me stay clean and know God has a better purpose for me, for my life moving forward. For sure. There's this great purpose in just interacting with others, and in the course of interacting with others, like in this chat or in our Facebook group or in something that doesn't have anything to do with me or Texas Pictures or any of that, but the interacting with other people fuels the pathway. It illuminates the pathway to finding a way to go that most helps others. And that's such a big deal. And Brenda says, God has a better place. God has a better purpose for me, for my life moving forward. And from that, you should also take that you have within your reach a oh, sorry. You have within your reach a better life moving forward. It's within your reach. You put it there. Why is the retard dog barking? Oh, I'm sorry. I used a word that I probably wasn't supposed to use. It's probably one of those words that aren't appropriate anymore. It's my fault, I know. So it's getting close to nap time, evidently, because I keep yawning. But I don't typically do naps. I just doze off involuntarily. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, so anyway, but it is about time to wrap things up here. Is an overdose side effect blindness and unable to talk? I see the blood on the floor where he came on my side of the bed, but he didn't wake me. Okay, Delaney, I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know if anyone else does, but I don't know what the real answer to that is, because I don't want to give you information that's just speculation, because that sounds like an important thing to understand. Thank you for saying that, Glenn. It's a hurtful world for those of us with family members with intellectual disability. Glenn, holy cow. Glenn, my new word to describe myself is fentard. Wow. Okay. So, uh, Brenda, to me, that seems brilliant. That seems good. Fentard. Yeah, there's other deviations to that word as well that come to mind, but I'm not going to go into them right now. But fentard, that's good. I really like that because it's really about embracing where you're at. But it's also important not to run yourself down, not to call yourself stupid, not to call yourself an idiot. So using that word, fentard, as much as I like it, it's got to be within the right spirit. It's got to be within the spirit of jocularity. It's got to be in the spirit of joking around. It's got to be in the spirit of acknowledging your little screw up and moving on. Brenda says Delaney, he would not have had the strength to wake up. Yes, blindness can happen during an overdose. So there you go. There you go. Useful information. All right, folks. I think that it's going to be about time to wrap things up for this afternoon. We have been here a little over an hour, and uh, I have I have other stuff to do. So I am so grateful for you guys. I so appreciate you being a part of this, and especially being a part of a story, a premiere that is a recovery story. Because I know recovery stories aren't as juicy. I totally get that. In a recovery story, people don't usually die. I use Fintard after I've done something really wacky. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure you're going to present some sort of opportunity to me eventually where I can call you a Fintard. It could happen. I'm pretty sure. So thank you, Karen. I appreciate you being here. And Brenda, what you take for granted someone else is praying for, God bless. Exactly. That is that thing. Brenda shares that all the time. I share it when Brenda's not around. When Brenda isn't part of the live event, I try to say it. I don't think I do it quite as well, but it's an important message. What you take for granted, someone else is praying for. That is huge. Delaney says, I'll be back. I'll be checking the Facebook group out. Thanks, everyone. Now, remember the Facebook group, you can't find it by searching because it is a private group. So the only way to find it is to get an invite from someone who's in the group, like me, or anyone else who's in the group. And some people in the chat today are people that are in the group. Karen says, what is a recovery group called on Facebook? It's not really a recovery group. There is recovery groups on Facebook, but it's not. Our group is called Texas Picture Storytellers, and it is recovery stories and fentanyl stories, all of that. So there you go. Anyway, thank you all so much for being a part of this. It is always just it's wonderful that you're part of what we're doing here. Very grateful Bryn Lee. Karen, thanks. I'll try to find her live. So remember, you can always reach out to me, and I'm always glad to help you any way I can. Karen, thanks, and I'll try to find her live. Bryn Lee says, have a good day. Bryn Lee, I don't know that we heard anything from you before now, but uh, thank you for speaking up. You love our content. That's awesome. I kind of love our content too. That I feel very blessed, very fortunate to get to do the kind of stories that we put here on our channel. So thank you all for joining us. I always like to remind you folks that you're always welcome to reach out to me. You can reach out by email at info@texas-pictures.com. You can also find us on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse, or under the Texas Pictures company name. We have a TikTok channel, and we have quite a lot of activity on the TikTok channel. And then you can learn more about us from our website. You can go to texas-pictures.com, and you can find information about how to share a story, how to create a storytelling summit in whatever part of the country or whatever part of the world you're in. You'll also find a link to our merchandise store where you will find t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, things like that. And you can also find out on our website, you can also find out more about us. There's a little bit about our history, about how we've evolved into where we're at now, and mailing address and phone number and all that good kind of stuff. So for now, Delaney and Brinley and Brenda and Linda and Karen and all the others, I am very grateful for you guys joining us. And thank you very much for being here. And we will see you guys next time. So you guys enjoy your weekend and have a good afternoon. Talk to you soon.